statewide political council chair, and we are here today because our legislators need to hear our stories. They need to hear how we are working to improve the lives of our fellow Minnesotans. And why they need to fund our agencies and support our contract fully. We'll have a chance to share our stories with two exceptional political leaders this afternoon, Governor Tim Walz and House Speaker Melissa Hortman. The state must keep its commitment to better serve the people of Minnesota by fully funding and staffing our agencies, and this is MAPE's top priority for this legislative session. MAPE members and all Minnesotans will do better if the state fulfills its promises. I'm a computer systems administrator for Winona State University, and here are some of the examples of how low funding is hurting Winona State and other Minnesota state colleges and universities. For 15 years, between 2000 and 2015, 86% of tuition increases were used to pay for tax cuts. Besides this being an unethical redistribution of wealth from the not-haves to the haves, having colleges base their operating funds on tuition money makes them highly vulnerable to sudden drops in enrollment, such as what happened during the pandemic. The Minnesota system has yet to recover from that. The average Winona State graduate has nearly $30,000 in student loan debt. Graduate students leave campus with more than $50,000 in debt. These students are nurses, teachers, social workers, and computer scientists, foundational members of our state's workforce. My technology department is half the size it was in 2017, and our workload has only increased since that time. Last fall, we lost one of our top people to a nonprofit organization. He now works permanently from home, making $30,000 a year more than he did at Winona State. Minnesota state colleges and universities, as well as other state agencies, are targets of cyber attacks because threat actors know state-run agencies are more likely to have underfunded and understaffed cybersecurity teams. Underfunding these teams puts the private data of our students and employees at risk and disrupts operations. In addition to fighting for fully funded and staffed agencies, MAPE supports paid family and medical leave legislation because it will help not only MAPE members, but all Minnesotans. MAPE believes in strong public sector unions in Minnesota, and we support laws that strengthen our members' voices in the workplace, and this includes modernizing and simplifying the contract approval process. I'm now going to turn the podium over to MAPE statewide president, Megan Dayton, who has more information on contract negotiations and building a union in the 21st century.
than improving the lives of Minnesotans. Always. Century. We've got to rethink how we do this work, and part of that is what you're doing today. You're here. You are doing that work. But our union exists to advocate for our rights and negotiate the best possible contract, right? Yep. Being a union member is about more than just negotiating those contracts, though. It's about standing together. It's about supporting each other. It's about fighting for our beliefs and our values. We are rethinking what it means to be a union member in this 21st century with a pandemic and post-Janus, right? Yep. We are rethinking what the workplace looks like. And simply paying our dues is not enough anymore, which is why you're here today. We have to be active citizens in our union. And this can take a lot of different forms. It's why you're here today. You can come to the steward retreat over the next couple of days and become a steward. Or you can join me on Saturday, April 1st to call some non-members and get folks to join this effort, right? You can join committees and task forces and just stay informed about the things that this union is doing. So being an active union citizen, you're not just advocating for your rights. This is the most beautiful part of it. But you're contributing to the strength and the effectiveness of our union. You are part of a larger community of people working together to improve their lives. Your participation in this is so essential, now more than ever. So being an active union member means that you have a voice in negotiations too, right? Our contract is up. We are going to start negotiating this new 2-year contract in the next couple of weeks. And in this contract, we have, every single one of you has the opportunity to negotiate for better wages, better benefits, and better working conditions. Our legislators ultimately have to sign off on this contract, and they need to hear your stories. I'm so excited that you're all here to share that with them today, right? They need to hear what you do to improve the lives of people in this state, and no one is better qualified to do these jobs than our members. So, let's remind them that Minnesota works because we do. Minnesota works because we do. All right, we have a special guest with us today, and I think that's a great welcome for him to come to the stage. He is one of the few, if not the only governors in our country that is a card-carrying union member. Please give a warm welcome to Governor.
Well, good afternoon, Dave. President Dayton, thank you, and I will echo those sentiments. It has been too quiet here the last few legislative sessions. Legislators, governors, commissioners need to hear your voice, and so being here today matters. First and foremost, on behalf of nearly 6 million of your neighbors, thank you for the work you do every day. And I agree with the President on this one that the sense of servant leadership in public service and putting others first. And I say that as a school teacher, but I've always said this too. I never expected to get rich, but I never took an oath of poverty to do the job. They're not mutually exclusive. And on behalf of all of those people that we talked about who aren't paying the dues, who aren't in a union, or at summer cookout said, "Oh, I wish I had a union so I could get health care and days off," so do we. So do we wish you had one. Because what we know is, as union membership goes back up, and it is going back up, wages go up. So I know when we gather like this, there's a temptation to know we're preaching to the choir. We know that. But I've been saying this too. This is now time for the choir to sing. Because what's different, you've come here for years, and you've made a case that by investing in our workforce, we get better results for Minnesota, and we all prosper. You know that. But what's been frustrating and what's different this year, you used to come here with a list of things that you wanted to talk about, and you were treated like those were a wish list. Oh boy, wouldn't that, yeah, no, we can't do this one. I said this year, you've come very clearly with a to-do list expecting to be checked off. And I've been saying, those of us of a certain age remember very clearly Lucy pulling the football away from Charlie Brown right at the last minute. But here's what I'm going to tell you is, since this session started a mere weeks ago in January, reproductive rights are protected. Our LGBTQ plus family and friends. The existential threat of climate change is being addressed in a real manner. We're going to read any damn book we want to read. So as you go and make the case, here's the help I need from you. We have proposed historic operating adjustments to our state agencies. We have got the best partners that any group of working people or a governor has ever had with Speaker Hortman and Leader Dietzig. We need your help making the case so that we can continue to deliver services. And as I said, whether it was that list of things that have already been done, I hope one of the things you saw very first out of the chute was taking care of the contract with our brothers and sisters over at SEIU and our personal care attendants. And I want to echo and know that this union's leadership under President Dayton has been very clear. The results of the contract negotiations matter, but the tone and the way contract negotiations are done also reflect this. The strengthening of giving information to workers, the strengthening of protecting that in every format is critical. So we work together to improve the lives of Minnesotans and deliver critical services. We work together to make sure we're good stewards of taxpayer dollars. We work together to ensure that people want to choose the professions that you've chosen, that we want their children to choose these professions. You're choosing. Here's what's different this year too. That to-do list, we've got about 7 weeks, and we're going to get it done.
Okay, it's next my great pleasure to introduce somebody who has always been a true friend to labor over the years, somebody that I personally look up to, the Honorable Melissa Hortman. Speaker of the Minnesota House, Mrs. Hortman has been instrumental in moving forward Minnesota's paid family and medical leave bill and other main legislative priorities this year. Welcome, Speaker Hortman.
It's very good to be you today and to be with my strong partner, Governor Walz, and our great friend, Carrie Dietzick, has been fully engaged in these budget negotiations. She's amazing. We could not ask for a better leader of Minnesota Senate than Senator Carrie Dietzick. I want to thank you for the work that you do every day. Every single day you make our state work, but in the pandemic you stepped up in ways that really kept us going when we needed you the most. And from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of a grateful state, thank you so much for the services you provide. DFLers are strong supporters of fair wages, the freedom to organize, a safe working environment, and a retirement you can count on. And what we really value is the power that workers have when they come together to ensure these things in our country. This week we've been working on budget targets. I have to admit the governor, the Senate leader, and I were a little sneaky. We wanted to under-promise and over-deliver so that for the first time, I think probably in state history, we have budget targets in March. We wanted to be more like you. You know that every day when you go to work, you got to get your job done. You don't need people waiting around for you to get your job done. And usually, all 201 legislators are sitting around in April and May waiting for the leaders to get their piece of the puzzle done. Well, we did our work so they can do their work. And now all 201 of the legislators will be shaping this budget with your input. And your input is so important because we have government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And we need you to make sure that that happens and that the results reflect what you want in these bills. So thank you for being here today. And I'm so excited to tell you that this state budget that we just agreed to the broad outlines will put historic investments in public education, taking care of our environment, and taking care of public health. And importantly, taking care of the people who provide all that for the people of Minnesota. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you for being here at the state capitol today. And I appreciate so much your support in creating this trifecta. And giving me the most
Alright, last up, I want to introduce you to one of my favorite colleagues, and I'm not just saying that, she really is. Make Vice President Angie Kolset. It's been really fun to get to know her and work alongside her. She's had a more than 20-year career in the Department of Corrections. So please welcome Vice President Kolset.
Thank you, President Deaton. You can tell I've been screaming all morning already, so I And also thank you, Speaker Hortman and Governor Walz for being here. As Megan stated, I am Angie Kolset, the named statewide Vice President, and I work in corrections. And I want to take a moment to go off of the script that I have here to talk about corrections and the problem in corrections right now. Many of you might have followed the news recently with the uptick in assaults on our corrections officers. Unfortunately, you might not have heard of the assaults on our Maine members as well. It's a problem, and I have dedicated years to fight that problem. So I thank you all for being here and supporting our corrections folks, but they're not the only ones. We all work very hard to keep Minnesotans safe, healthy, and a wonderful place to live every year. So next, I only look 30, but I'm 47, so time for the cheater. I do have the privilege of talking a little bit about what's going on in our neighboring states with their contracts and their raises. Maine members have kept the state running during the pandemic. We step up because that's what public servants do. Inflation has been brutal and our already low wages took a big hit. We need to negotiate a contract for the 21st century. Wages are competitive and fair, affordable health care, and flexible workplaces, which includes telework. This will allow the state to recruit and retain the best workforce that Minnesota has ever had. States around the country are in the same position, Minnesota is, and are increasing employee wages to recruit and retain the best ones. Even the conservative states are doing this. Missouri Governor Carson signed a historic raise for the state employees, 8.7%. Raises this year. I think Governor Walz left, but that's a pretty hard high bar, Governor Walz. South Dakota passed 7% raises. The Assembly in Virginia is proposing a 2% raise on top of the 5% employees will get in July. North Dakota, my conservative home state, is looking at 6%. State workers in Colorado are getting 5% this year and 3% next year. Indiana gave workers a 5% increase. Florida, Tennessee, and Texas budgets are also asking for 5% increases. If they can do it, I would argue we can do even better. I don't think so. Are they more professional than we are? No. You know they're not. And are they more deserving than we are? No. So now is my pleasure to introduce Director Bernita Moore, who is going to close us off with a little bit more excitement in true Bernita fashion.
Negotiating our 2023 to 2025 contract. I'm so proud to work with all of you. We're not only trying to improve working conditions for our union members, but for our workers in our state. I'm also proud to be rallying with you here at the Capitol. The last time we were here, we were together July of 2021. Yes, it was nice and sunny, but we came to bring the heat, so we're ready. Make, yes,